Hello friends, welcome to the third or fourth year of the Wrap-In Chat. I have my peppermint mocha, I'm finally drinking coffee again, in my little elfing around mug because I'm elfing today. Got my nice comfy clothes. I'm not gonna lie, I seriously considered leaving my pajamas on today, but I have to clean later, so I figured that would not be the best option. So there we are. I got smart this time and I brought my coffee mug heater upstairs because I know that as I'm doing things I'm not gonna have time to drink it. But yeah, so today we're gonna wrap some presents and then we're also gonna have some chats. I asked what y'all wanted to hear about, and basically the main consensus was goal setting, plans for next year, that kind of stuff. So, and if you ask me some TBT questions, we will get to them in other videos, but for today we're keeping things light and fun. I love these videos, and I will try not to be as distracted as I was last year. Now, I got a new wrapping gadget. If you've been around, you know that I am obsessed with this guy. Just a little tape guy that like clips onto your table. I have more than one. And then I also last year got this, which I recently saw at Hobby Lobby, so if you would like one immediately. It's called the Little Elf, and it is like a little cutter for your wrapping paper, and it even has a little thing. I think that's for ribbon. I've never tried it for ribbon though, so there's that. But I got a new gadget this year, so we'll see how this works. It's basically like the little tape dispensers, but there's two of them, and then they hold the wrapping paper. So we're gonna try it out for the first time today. I'm not sure if I'm gonna like it. Because I can't use this guy with it, so I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I have scissors. It's not like I don't have scissors. Actually, I was really smart last year and I put all of my wrapping stuff in one little box. So I have like this twine that I use a lot. I have like the fine liner Sharpies because I use those to write on the gift tags, and the tape and the cutter and the scissors, and I was like, oh my gosh, this was thank you, pass back because that was brilliant. Okay, so let's get to wrapping and we'll get to chatting. My first two things are two board games. So I have Candyland and Monopoly. These are in little like tins. I got Monopoly. Oh, that's so mean. How did they get the sticker on the inside of the plastic? Ugh, stupid Marshalls. I got Monopoly at Marshalls for like, I think 20 bucks. And then I got Candyland on Amazon that is like the matching tin set for, how much were you? I think $30. So those are going to my sister-in-law who requested some board games this year. So she requested Monopoly, and then husband said that Candyland was her favorite as a kid, and her daughter is about to turn 2, so I thought it might be nice. I mean, 2's still young for board games, but you know, like in the next couple of years they'll be able to play that one together, because she's definitely not gonna be interested in Monopoly in quite a long time. But Monopoly's classic, so there we are. I wanted to get the bookshelf games, and y'all, it's been a whole ordeal. There were 8,000 of them at TJ Maxx, Home Goods, Marshalls, everywhere, and I didn't get them. Then I realized everybody needed them, and then they were all gone. And I was like, how in the world did all of them get bought? Like, they were there for months. So just goes to show you, get things immediately. Anyway, so let's talk a bit about goals, goal setting, thoughts for next year, that kind of stuff. Does not slide well. So as you know, goal setting is one of my favorite things. As far as goals for this coming year, or this past year, first of all, I would love to know, y'all usually like seeing videos about like my goals, whether I hit them, and then also like my new goals and what those might be. So let me know if that's something you want to see. And if that is something you want to see, then we can definitely make that happen, because those will be fun little videos to film next week especially. Although my time is limited next week. But the short synopsis of my goals. My main plan this past year was, one, like top of the list was get a new job. For various reasons, I was very ready to get a new job, and that was like top of my list, has to happen. I was 1000% not gonna go back to my same school. I didn't know in January what was gonna happen, and that actually made my goal setting really difficult because I wasn't sure what to make my goals, because I was like, you know, I don't know what kind of job I'm gonna get. I don't know if I'm gonna have to be, you know, hunting for months or if I'm gonna get something quickly. I don't know, you know, where it's gonna be, how much effort that's gonna be. And then if I get a new job, like how much effort it's gonna be at a new school. And so there were just so many things up in the air. So I left a lot of things up in the air this year. And to be fully honest, I felt it because I felt up in the air. Yowza. I felt so up in the air this year, just with everything. Yeah, I felt a little like I was wandering, which I do not love. So that was this year. In a nutshell, just feeling very like, my husband just texted me. We went to get a massage in Disney World this year for my birthday, and he just texted me because they had these like little plastic combs in the spa, and he like took a bunch of them, and apparently his just broke because he's been leaving it in the car and using it like all the time. Maybe Santa will bring you a new one. I felt very up in the air, so that was quite a struggle for me this year in particular, was just the unknown and like things being pretty out of my control, and then also feeling like they're out of control in the business. I talked a lot about that in a vlog recently, so I won't go too into it. But I will say I did find a new job. I did find it relatively quickly, which was glorious, because you know, sometimes that can be just a whole big thing. So I was able to transfer during my district's transfer window, which makes things really easy, like paperwork wise. If you can do it during the district transfer window. So that happened, and that was great. And I love my new school. It's exactly what I was hoping for. It's exactly what I wanted. I mean, not every day is, you know, super fabulous and amazing, obviously, because one, it's work, and two, it's teaching, and three, it's life. But overall, like, it is just so nice. So nice. So nice. I mean, it's still hard work, don't get me wrong, but man, I love it, and I love the people I work with, and I love like how willing to work everyone is and how passionate they are. And there's people who work there who have been working there for like 20 years. Like, it's pretty fabulous. Let me change the battery. So in that sense, I definitely did really well. And that was very fortuitous, and I can definitely see like this spot was made for me, and I can see how it worked out perfectly. And like, could never have planned that in my life. So that was the main goal for last year. The second main goal for last year was really to focus on my mental health, I guess, and not burning out, and really trying to find balance, especially in getting a new job, because I wasn't sure that I was gonna get a new job. I had basically decided, like, I'll look for a new job, and if I don't find one, then I'll take it as a sign and I will work for myself. And that was my master plan in life. And so that's what my thought process was. And then it didn't work out, that I didn't, which I'm really glad, like, totally happy at my school. But because of that, because I ended up getting a new full-time job, I really have been focusing on balance and trying to figure out like where my limits are and how I can you know, just be happy and healthy and not lose my mind. That is not gonna work. So that has been a whole thing this year, and in doing that, then I feel like I've spent a lot less time working on anything really, but I have been a lot happier. I have explored more of my hobbies. I have rested more. I have been so much better feeling. I was remembering the other day because I was feeling really tired, which turns out to be because I was getting sick, but I didn't know I was getting sick. So I just was like, holy cow, I'm really tired. And it reminded me about how that was basically how I felt every week of my life for the last couple of years, and how I really haven't felt that very much this year. And I am so grateful for that, and not having felt as exhausted as usual this past couple of months especially, but yeah, like the whole year. So basically trying to find more balance, trying to protect my mental health, trying to find a new job. I have been successful on all those fronts, which is great. I have been less successful in hitting my TPT goals for a variety of reasons, which may in part be because I did, you know, like I just said, I have been spending less time on the business because I'm trying to avoid burnout, because normally I just work like 24/7, which is very not healthy, especially because, you know, I recognize that part of that has been purely from avoidance and escapism, because when I have a bad day, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go make a new product because if I make enough money, I don't have to go back to work. Which, I mean, technically I don't have to go back to work because I do make enough money, but that's maybe not the healthiest mentality when it comes to working. Right. So especially in times when I was very unhappy, I would work all the time, and that was a big reason why, is because I was like, oh, you know, I don't want to come back here, so I'm just gonna do all the work, and then I'll make all the money, and then I don't have to come back here. Wow. If you have two presents for the same person and it's not like your kids or your husband or something like that, I like to always put them together. So these two board games, I just use like tape, and I like twist it together and then put it in between, and then I usually tie it this way where you have like the crisscross, because it holds them pretty decently. And this twine was a great investment. I think I spent like $5 on it like 3 years ago, and it's still going strong. All right, husband's cousin, who is a senior in high school, she's getting a rechargeable little mirror situation. This interchangeable hair curler, which I thought was interesting. It's from some random Amazon brand, but it has these different, it's exactly what it sounds like. It has like different size hair knobs. I mean, she asked for it. I didn't take it out for her. I would have gotten her, frankly, a nicer one, but it had good reviews, and it's the one she asked for. And I don't know if she liked that it was interchangeable, so I just went ahead and got the one she asked for. We do like a Secret Santa situation with his family, and so we draw names, and then on the website you can like make a list, and so these were things on her list. She's also getting these hair bows that I have been obsessed with because I just knew that she would like them, and then she's getting these earrings that I bought a really long time ago that were too small for my earlobes, and I didn't send them back on time, so now I can't return them. So congrats. Her. Oh, and she also, this girl made out like a bandit this year because I also got her Tula stuff. Okay, so that was last year. This year I am still gonna be focused on balance, but more, this past year was a lot of trying to break my habit of working all the time. And so I spent a lot of time not working, and I spent a lot of time just like, you know, trying to be, you know, how do I feel about all the different things in the world? And so that was kind of my vibe this past year. This year coming up, I kind of need to swing a little bit more to the other side, because now I'm like doing a terrible job at cleaning my house, and I'm like, you know, I do need to clean my house. I do need to figure out a more sustainable way to do work. And so that is the thought for this coming up year, is basically more on balance, but more the other way now, of how can I keep the happiness factor and the not as exhausted factor, but also do work. So that is a big thing for this coming up year that I will be working on. And so specifically, I'm really looking at my ideal week and adjusting my ideal week to include a bit more of to just be a little bit more ideal, frankly. A lot of it also, not a lot, but part of it is husband has changed his weekly routine, which has benefited me greatly, so that's totally fine with me. But in him doing that, I really need to change how my week looks, because he changed how his week looks. And that was something that I struggled with this past couple of months. So I'm looking at basically my master plan is I would like to come home and I would like to chill for a little bit, which is something I tried to implement this year. We're doing a musical at school, and I somehow got roped into this because it's something that they had already done before, and it requires staying after school like 3 days a week, and I was like, I really don't want to do that. So I don't know if there's any negotiation on that. I'll have to look into it, because I'm like, that's a lot of days to stay after school. I usually only stay after school 1 day a week, and so that would basically make Friday my only day, like being home and staying home, because on Mondays I have my choir rehearsal. So I gotta think on that one. But I just need to work on my personal like ideal week. And so I would like to come home and chill for a little bit, and then be able to like come home and chill for a little bit, maybe with piano, because that is something I want to continue working on, because I definitely am not to the point where I'm like fabulous at it yet. And so I would like to continue working on that, and just reading and different things like in that realm of stuff. And then I need to figure out a cleaning schedule. Is going to be a big thing for this year. I really wanted to hire a maid, or not necessarily a maid, but like a cleaning person who would come in and just like clean the house every other week, is pretty much how most of the ones that I found do that. The problem is dogs, because they come when you're not home. And if they come when I'm not home, then I have to, like, they have to let the dogs out, because they're gonna freak out and all of that if they don't let the dogs out. And I don't know that I want people letting my dogs out and trusting them to let them back in. And so that's kind of the stalemate we've landed with that. So I did have someone come and clean for like one time, and so I'm thinking maybe this year I'll try like once a month or once every other month, and see if I can get, you know, someone to come in and do more of like a deep clean every month or two. And that'll help with just a lot of the mental load of cleaning. And, you know, they like mop the floors and clean the bathrooms, and that's, you know, 1 week I don't have to clean the bathrooms. These are all too small. I always keep my like little pieces to wrap little things, but they're all just a little bit too little. Yeah, that's probably right. Okay. So, that's something I'm thinking about for next year, because that's something I can kind of lighten my load a little bit, but it's not gonna work out at this moment to just have someone like on the regular, or more than, you know, more than I would, more than once a month or so, basically. So that is where I've landed there. Hi. So ideal week is a big thing that I'm looking at in the new year, of how I'm going to kind of fix that situation. And yeah, we're looking at some vacations for the next year. I would love to do a really big one. I don't know if it's gonna happen. A lot of it is going to be based on, you know, how much money I make. I also really was hoping that I was gonna be able to get my master's next year, and I just like do not see a way that I can keep up with the work at the present moment, which really sucks. And it really sucks because I know it's not going to get better. And I was talking to my husband about this. I'm like, I don't know, like, what is the best time to get your master's? Because it's not going to, life is not going to slow down. If I've learned anything, it's that unless there's a pandemic, life is not slowing down. And so it's like, there's no good time, but also like I've been struggling so much to, you know, keep things balanced and maintain like a good rhythm. So it seems really not smart to go and try to add something else that's gonna be really time consuming on top of that. So I think I'm gonna have to give that one up for next year, which sucks. I am going to have a pretty big TPT goal next year, which after this year may or may not happen. But a big part of it, one, is that I think if I make a big goal and I'm not as distracted with like trying to, you know, find a new job and stuff like that, that I think it might help me to get more creative and actually get the money, essentially. If I have that really big goal. Like sometimes a really big goal is like the best motivator for me. And so that's kind of what I'm looking at for next year. I'm basically looking to double what I made this year, which is very similar to what I made last year. It's kind of where I'm at. Will that happen? I don't know. And if it doesn't, it's okay. And this is kind of the point I have come to with my goal setting, is if it doesn't happen, it's okay, but you need something to aim for. And so although I really do want that to happen, because if I can double my income, it will make such a difference in my everything, essentially, because I have just like, you know, I keep telling you, I have really big goals financially, and so if I can do that, it will really help with said big goals, because I need to pay off debt. One, that's a huge goal for next year. And two, I need to figure out how I'm gonna like give her all the, maybe I'll stick all that stuff in a bag, or maybe I'll put it on a box and wrap a box. Paying off debt is a really big thing, and then after paying off debt, then I have some really big things I would like to save up for. And that's all I'm saying about that. So if I can double, like I've done all the numbers, something that I have done multiple times that I suggest that you would do also is make a budget based on like different points of income. So I'll go through and basically make like a graph, or not a graph, but like a chart. But I just write it out because y'all know how I feel about paper. And so on one side, I put all of the expenses. So how much do I put that contributes to like our monthly bills? How much do I contribute to my stuff? How much do I contribute to savings and investing and all that? How much do I contribute to just all the things. How much do I give to the church? All that. So I'll put all that down here. And then across the top, I usually do 3. I'll do 3 different income levels. So if I make this much money, you know, we'll keep nice. I usually do nice round numbers because they're easier to deal with. So if I make $10,000 in the business, I pay myself, thought she was chewing on something. I will pay myself, currently 60% is what I'm paying myself, but I'm hoping to lower that a little bit once I get some stuff paid off, essentially. Because right now I'm like trying to throw as much as I can onto debt. And so if I have less debt, then I can take a little bit less out of the business, which is the ultimate goal. So, you know, if I make $10,000, I'm paying myself $6,000. Here is my sample ideal budget for if I paid myself $6,000. Okay. Which sounds like a lot, but y'all, it goes quick once you're like dividing it into like 8 different spots. And I always try to put like a lot onto debt if I can, which I can't always, but yeah. Anyway, so there's that. Then, okay, if I make $15,000 in the business, then I'm paying myself X amount of money. Do the same thing with those numbers, and then the same thing with like 20,000, or, you know, however much you are thinking of. And it's really eye-opening and really inspiring and really exciting to me when you can see like, oh my gosh, look how much money I can put onto my goals if I make X amount of money. And that's just like the most fun thing ever for me. And so yeah, I love doing that. My nerdy self. And when I do that, I usually have like in my sample budget, I'll do some things stay the same. So I have like fixed expenses, obviously, like bills that are the same every month or similar every month. And then there's other things I do percentages. So like I always give at least 10% to the church, and I always save at least 10% for myself for investing and retirement. And then depending on how much money that ends up being, then I separate it into different like investing accounts. And yeah, because I have like an IRA, but you can only put you can only put so much money into an IRA. 2, if you put it into an IRA, which is an individual retirement account, if you put it into that, you can't get it out until you retire, which is the point. But if you need money for something else, you can't use it. So I like to have money in like a regular investing account as well. That way that money can grow. And then if I need, you know, money for a new down payment on a house, or if I need money for, you know, whatever big goal you have, then you have that in reserve. And so most of that I'll leave probably, I don't know, until I retire. But some of it I do intend to use as like different things. And then I have like a savings account that's literally marked goals. And so right now I don't have a lot going in there because I have most going on to debt, and then my emergency fund, which if you rely on your business income at all is really, really, really important. And basically it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a fund for emergencies. So if, you know, the car breaks down, there's cash to cover that, things like that. So I've been trying to put money in there, and ultimately I would love to have like 6 months of income from the business in there. I don't have that right now, but that's like the ultimate goal, because if 2020 happens again and all of a sudden I'm not making any money at all, you know, like I can, you know, figure things out. But it's nice to have a cushion and, you know, just have that, especially with that like up and down income. So there's my money thoughts on that. And this is why I really would like to do a whole lot better next year. And also I just find that if the business is growing, it makes me much happier, which is probably dumb, but you know, there we are. I like the growth even more than the actual. We've swapped to a different also light bulb situation here for my family, because I always give you this tip: wrap different people's presents in different paper. So we have one for me, one for Andrew, one for his family, one for my family, and then I also have some for like miscellaneous, like if, you know, you want to take something for your friend or different things like that. And it makes Christmas Day so much easier. It's something my mom did. Like each of us had a different wrapping paper, and life is just so much better. stepfather is getting a new Alexa Echo Dot because they have one, but mom said he would like to have one in the bedroom, and this one has a clock on it, so I thought that would be good for bedroom. And the reason I got it is because I'm gonna open this so you can see it. This is what I found, and I was like, does father need this? And my mom was like, not in my living room. But she gets some Mandalorian stuff all the time, so I was like, really? Anyway, so let's see, what other goals do I have? I have some health goals. I actually lost some weight this year, which was a big goal of mine, not as much as I wanted to, as per usual, but here we are. And so I would like to lose more weight, frankly, next year. So the Echo Dot sits in the middle. He's gonna love that. So that's gonna be a big goal for next year, plan for next year. One random thing in the realm of books. I want to read more books. As usual, I always have a goal to read more books. But one thing I want to do is I want to get more intentional, because y'all know that's my word, with the books that I do read. And specifically, I want to do better at like taking notes with them, especially for things that are nonfiction. But I have to do it in a way that's like actually gonna work. Like I have a notebook that I use to take notes in, but that requires like sitting down in an area where you can take notes. And you know, I mean, y'all know I like to read in the bathtub, and you can't take notes in your notebook in the bathtub. Like it just doesn't work that way. So I want to get better at that basically by the end of this year, because I had started that system and then I was like, this doesn't always work. And so I was decided to start in Evernote, which is my new note-taking app that I'm obsessed with. I have started taking notes in there because I mean, I usually take my phone to the bathtub, and so that way I can add notes. I can also add pictures, which is really great. And so next year, one thing I want to look at over break actually is to create a template for note taking. And so like an area for notes, and then an area for like quotes straight out of the book, and then some sort of like summary that I can do afterwards. And this has two purposes. One purpose is just to make it all nice and like make sure that I'm really grasping the information. And then the other reason I want to do that is because I want to do more like book-based videos here on this YouTube channel. And so that is something that I will be looking at doing soon in the future, because that was something I always wanted to do. And it just, YouTube is weird, because sometimes I'll post a video and YouTube legit will just not show it to like anybody, and I'm like, it's a really good video. And it's just very strange. And so sometimes when I make book videos, it's just like, nope, no one needs to see that. And I'm like, you are a jerk. So I have gotten that problem often. So we'll see how it goes. I'm really looking at like what I wanted to do with this channel. Obviously vlogs, but like other than vlogs, especially now it is monetized, so I can justify spending more time here if it's making at least a little bit of money instead of nothing. And I can justify, you know, Brian editing these and paying him to edit them if I, you know, have that. Words. I can justify paying someone to edit my videos if it's making at least a little bit. It's kind of hard to be like, yeah, I'm gonna have you edit my videos when I'm not making any money. But anyway, so that's a really random goal of mine for next year. And I think I'm gonna make a reading journal for my fictional books, because I don't usually take notes during fictional books, but I can add like some quotes from the book and like my thoughts and maybe some of the main things. So I want to create like systems and templates for that over this break. It's one of my things to do if I ever finish wrapping presents, because I didn't wrap anything until like Monday. Like literally I was like, oh, it's a week from Christmas and I don't have anything wrapped. So here we are, wrapping things right now. So those are some of my main things for next year. And then obviously we have travel in January. Actually, I need to go book some stuff. In January, I'm presenting at the Georgia Music Educators Conference, which I'm so excited for. So I need to go. Crap. I'm like cutting up my finger, like scratching it on the tape thingy. So that's exciting. It's in Athens, and so I think what we're gonna do, Athens, Georgia, not Greece. It's much less exciting. But with that, I think I'm going to do some for, oh my gosh. So I think we're going to take the dogs, stay at like an Airbnb or something the first couple of nights while we're at the conference, and then after the conference is over, and because husband's not going to the conference because he actually is not a Georgia music educator, although he does have a music ed degree, and actually he will know a lot of people who are going to be there, and so that is coming. But afterwards, I think we're gonna go and stay at a cabin for the next couple of days. So we'll like go further north, and that will be really nice and fun, and take the dogs. I'm trying to take the dogs basically as much as I can, partially because we had a horrible time last year with people watching the dogs, because my sweet darling Nyla will not sleep when we are not here. And this may shock you, but people like to sleep. And so we've been having that issue of, I thought she was coming in, like just up and whining and just not being able to go to sleep, which is because, you know, as a dog, she's like, my parents aren't here. And that's why she's doing it. But, you know, the why doesn't help the fact that she is doing it. Now, she had a great time last year when we took her to like boarding, and she loved it. Probably didn't even want to come home. Like, she loved it. Tolly had a horrible time at boarding and was not here for it. And so, like, that's not, so we're at this like, basically Nyla needs to be boarded and Tolly needs to be home with somebody here, and that's not a great position to be in because, you know, that's two different things going on. So anyway, and then in April we're going to Disney for spring break. We're gonna go stay at a cabin. I should go make sure there still is a cabin available. There was when I looked a few weeks ago, but we're gonna go with husband's family and everybody, and that'll be fun. And that's the only plans we have at the current moment. We're, oh, and then next weekend for New Year's, we're gonna go stay at a cabin in like a state park, which will be really fun, and just have a really chill weekend. Basically do nothing, walk the dogs around some, watch some movies, plan our year, because we always want to take a planner vacation and it never works out, mostly because we kept trying to do it while camping, and camping and planning don't go together because your stuff gets all dirty. So this way there's like a big table and we can, you know, spread out all the notebooks, because husband and I are very similar in that aspect. And so that's gonna be a great time, just basically do like absolutely nothing and have a wonderful time. We went to the same cabin 2 years ago. We did nothing, but this time we'll have fires, we'll have s'mores, and just have a good time. So that's the current plan for traveling, and then we'll see what else happens. I'm not sure yet, but we will discuss things at the planning meeting. Just another reason we want to do that was so that we can actually like talk to each other and like figure out what's going on. So all of that to say, those are some current plans for next year. It's not everything. I'm still mulling and thinking about things, but there's that. Oh, and then house DIYs are coming. Some pretty big ones, I think. I'm really excited. I also need money for that. Everything takes money. It really does. It's very annoying. but I have some really, really, really big things planned for next year. Non-DIY, we're gonna get someone to replace the carpet up here with the same floor that we have throughout the downstairs. And then do like a run around the stairs. And I really, really, really want to cut out part of the staircase and put like a banister, because we have like a half wall. I want like a banister. So I think we're gonna try to see how much that's all gonna cost and like pay someone to do that next year. And then I have big plans for the loft that include some built-ins. I cannot wait. And then assuming that goes well, my office is going to get a remake next year that's going to include some built-ins, and it's gonna be great. And then smaller items like the hallway, we want to add, like right out here, we want to add chair rail and picture frame molding to the bottom. And I know we're going to do something to the bedroom, but I don't know if it'll be next year or not. And then I want to paint all the doors, that like dark gray that's in the piano room that I painted the front door. So that'll be fun. And then change out all the hardware, get light fixtures. So there's a lot going on. Anyway, I've been talking for a very long time, but you asked for goal setting advice and plans for next year. So here's goal setting advice and plans for next year. A couple quick things for advice. Be very clear about which goals are non-negotiables. So some goals will be like, this has to happen, and other goals are like, that would be nice. I like to have like a goal list and then like a bucket list. And so the bucket list is where I put things that are like, they would be nice, but I'm not like super working on them. With your goals, do have numbers, because numbers are trackable. So I want to make this much money, I want to lose this much weight, I want to go to the park this many times, I want to exercise this many times, you know, things like that. Read this many books, because that's trackable. And you can say, basically when I write a goal down, I'm like, can I check this off and know that it is done? If the answer is no, then you gotta fix it. Third, make sure that when you make said goals that you have specific things that you can do, that you can check off to make those goals. So for example, I'm looking at increasing my revenue next year. I'm looking at a couple of really specific products that I want to make. And so I'm gonna have those like listed of like, these are things I'm gonna make. I want to clean up my shop and do lots of updates that I started this year. I want to have, you know, content that goes along with products, and I'm gonna try to really lean into Pinterest. I started this year, but I really, really want to like lean into it next year and see if it can like take off. And so like those are specific. Actually, leaning into Pinterest is not specific, but I'll have a specific thing to go with that. So all of that to say, there's 4 quick goal setting advice pieces for you if you needed it. And if you have goal setting questions, leave them down below, or you can send me a DM over on Instagram. It's at becca.e.davis. That's where we talk goal setting, TPT, all of that kind of stuff. And I should probably post something over there because I haven't posted in a few days. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you, and I love this. I have so many YouTube channels, more than one should. This one's my favorite because on here we get to talk about like all my favorite things, which is like goal setting, planning, organizing, DIYs, and also like the vlogs, which I just really love because I love watching them, and hopefully you love watching mine as well, obviously, because you're here, so that would make sense. And if you're not subscribed, make sure you do subscribe so that you can see the next one. And we won't have a wrap and chat till next year, but you know what, here we are. Okay, thanks, bye.